All right, guys, welcome back. Hangobi Pod back online. This is Monday after Super Bowl, so forgive us, audience, if we're a little lazy here. Getting all the gears going again. But we got myself, Conrad, older brother John Eric, and the man, the myth, the legend, Dan Marvin. How we doing, guys?
You want to take it
Doing
away,
well.
Dan?
Yeah, I was gonna say doing well. I mean, I'll give a longer intro once we get into the Super Bowl talk. But yeah, I agree. It was a big hangover day over here on the post coming in a little vacay down in the Bahamas, right into Super Bowl Sunday, made for a tough 8 a.m. Monday start.
Yeah, no, it was you guys had a little bit of a week down there, so you had to stay focused. Had to stay very diligent with how you got things done. And then we got a great guest today. That's a big Rangers fan with us, part of the crew. James O'Leary's gonna kick us off with a couple stories. Just join in with the banter with the boys. So should we just fire it off? Let him in.
Let's let him in. Here he goes.
Calling in all the way from
Yeah.
Boston, man of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
people, just getting off work.
He's behind enemy lines up there.
Yeah, what's up, dude? You're online finally. Busy guy in the car, calling in, making time for the Hangobi Pod. We're grateful.
Absolutely grinding here, but happy to join.
No days off. Look at this guy. The Monday after Super Bowl weekend, 6 o'clock, still going strong here, calling from the road. Deal man over here at James O'Leary.
How's everybody feeling after the Super Bowl? Jade, what'd you get into last night?
Oh, it was I was up in New Hampshire. It was a family affair, so nothing overly exciting, but just a bunch of local Squam Lake, New Hampshire people and the family watching the game.
Good buff chick dip. What you guys were eating?
Just a dangerous, like bottomless apps. It was one of those parties where like everybody decided to bring three things. So lots of every version of buffalo chicken you can imagine, tenders, buffalo chicken dip, pizza, all kinds of stuff. It was delicious.
And you can't be rude by rejecting a person's three platters. Or else it's getting personal. So you have to have everything. That's it.
You put that platter in front of me, I'm gonna eat that.
And when you don't have a plate, you just kind of like you're just kind of eating everything with your hands. You lose track of like how much you've actually had. It's I don't do well in those. Not a lot of self-discipline, so we went a bit off the rails.
It's not like when you order a 16-ounce steak and you have a goddamn 16-ounce steak. Exactly. There's like it's kind of drinking from the bottle that you can't see the bottom of. No way to gauge the effort there.
No way to gauge, and then you just overshoot the runway before you realize.
And who was that? What were the teams? Who was rooting for who? What was the breakdown like?
As a Patriots fan, it was like the worst possible matchup. It was like a no-win scenario. Like you hate the Eagles. There's this like BS narrative that Patrick Mahomes is somehow already better than Tom Brady, and so it's like in one hand he gets another Super Bowl, but it's only two, so it doesn't really matter. And then the Eagles, you just hate the Eagles. So you had to like throw some bets downrange to get the juices flowing. And it was a mixed room that I was watching with. I was trying to remain neutral. I thought the Eagles were going to absolutely dominate, and unfortunately they didn't.
And I feel like it was such an epic Super Bowl that everybody's talking about. Like it was a really exciting game, two phenomenal offenses. I mean, it was 71 points or something like that. However, I think that everybody besides the fan bases of those two teams, everybody really struggled here because it was which team do you hate the least? Because nobody likes the Eagles and nobody likes the Chiefs. And you're just sitting there like, at least it was an entertaining game. But I mean, really outside, It's not like one of those neutral ones where it's like, oh yeah, the 49ers that haven't won it in like 30 years, or like the Dolphins. Let's get the Dolphins.
You know what? I kind of came out of the game hating, and I'm as a Giants fan hating the Eagles less than I hate the Chiefs. Like now, I really, really hate the Chiefs.
The Chiefs are really easy to hate.
Yeah, they're really a hateable team. Yeah.
And like
Andy Reid. Andy Reid seems like a good guy, but like Travis Kelce's easy to hate. Mahomes is easy to hate.
Yeah, I agree. And it's also, I mean, even the small thing in the first interview coming up, and again, I mean, these are professional athletes. You're basically on script of coming up with creating the enemies and stuff. But when they're like, nobody gave us a chance, or like Kelsey sitting there yelling, like, just prove them all. Like, dude,
aren't you the favorites?
The number one place team. So sometimes you just like hear this, and he's like, "You are a bunch of bronies." You're like, "No, man, you were actually the number one fucking team, and not because like what you were basically a pick'em." So like some stuff like that, where again, none of us were professional. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Outside of Conrad, the three of us were not professional athletes over here. So maybe you could opine on this.
I played semi-pro hockey in Denmark, actually. So
well,
I think that checks out.
Fucking beer league, I guess that counts too. But going down, and O'Leary is a 3-point shooter at the local YMCA.
I will say it was kind of best case scenario until the end. For Super Bowl, you didn't really care about the outcome. It was a good game, and I had this. I work with a guy that's a big Chiefs fan, and I came up to him this morning and congratulated him, and he reminded me how painful it is to watch your own team in the Super Bowl, which Marv has seen me do on multiple occasions. The Super Bowl and the Patriots beat the Seahawks. I cleaned our buddy's apartment the entire second half and was like losing my mind. And then they win. And then the Falcons we watched in Marv's Hester Street place, which
he also did all the dishes. Wouldn't you look at TV? Just sitting over, just like literally, it was like basically had the cleaning lady show the entire second half, no words spoken.
And if you ask my wife, I'm not a clean person.
Is that what you've done previously? But like, is that like have you done that with multiple games, or is that just for that one game you were just like, I gotta clean shit? Or is this like what you do?
Both times. It was like I need to do something, and like it was like an out of body experience to like distract myself, because like I talk, especially when I was in New York, it was like me against the world in the office, and so I talked a lot of shit going into those Super Bowls, and it was like, I felt like I had a lot on the line for them to win, so I was like, the nerves were certainly pumping, and watching last night, I was very, it was pretty relaxing.
Well, I wish I could say the same, because O'Leary and I are in a group chat, a little DGen gambling chat over here. So the boys had a few ideas flying.
What'd you guys go for?
Well, we're getting there. So let's just say James and I extremely confident on the Eagles cover. I think both of us had like biggest plays of the year, one of the biggest plays of the year, also firing off each other. And when Ozan and I are both very confident in a line, usually does not mean good things are coming. But the worst is I had a lot of money on the Eagles and a little bit on the alternative spread, -6.5 for the Eagles. But the worst is a little parlay, a tasty little $16 to win $1,450. It had a special teams or defensive touchdown, Kelsey touchdown, Hurts touchdown, and then I needed the game to be tied at halftime. So I was sitting there with every box checked, with Mahomes with a drive with 150 left.
2 minute drill.
2 minute drill.
Bread and butter.
Kicked me right in the dick. And then then at halftime, I was like, oh, Eagles second half +3. Like they're about to run away with this, like they always do. Just going to run the ball. Added a little bit more. So not only did Mahomes fuck me in the first half, now the second half, he decided to come out there and score like 7 straight touchdowns. So I went from already thinking about where I was going to be taking the family when we were down in Florida in a week or two, out to dinner, having a lovely night in the town. So now we're having goddamn ramen. And then again, you really get in a dangerous place when you start speculating with what you're going to do with all your winnings. So I went from thinking that I was going to be making thousands and thousands of dollars to actually having to add more money to the account this AM.
It's funny, the thing about the ramen, because I was going to make that joke too, but like ramen's expensive now. Like you go, like you say, I'm going to eat ramen. You like go out to like a nice Japanese restaurant and eat like proper ramen. So you got to say like cup of noodles or something.
I'm talking about 40 school ramen, like
instant ramen. Ramen. You got to clarify.
Yeah, my bad.
My sister, my younger sister's a significantly better gambler than I am. And she wouldn't admit it, but maybe equally degenerate. And I was I was at a golf simulator a couple hours before the Super Bowl, and gambling is legal in New Hampshire with the DraftKings app. She's traveling. She's in Sun Valley, and she's calling me like, I need you to put in a bet. And her bet was that there was going to be a field goal, that the field goal is going to hit a post. It was paying +450. And I didn't even know that was an option to bet on. Of course, I followed her on there, told everybody that I was with that we had put this bet in. And the first
funny how I never got a text on this one.
It came in too late. This was a last minute, like got it in.
Everybody minus Marv.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody that I was physically with. And so there was an eruption, like we all really actually cared about this, the Chiefs or the Eagles, when the first field goal rung off the post. It was just a winner, first quarter, or maybe it was the second quarter, whenever it was, hit the post, plus 450, big win right off the bat. So at least that helped the cause.
Wow, that's amazing.
I know. I will say, I feel like every year now you get crazier and crazier props that are coming out.
Okay, wait, this was a crazy bet too. The Super Bowl ending at 10:16, right? Was the, and it ended at 10:15, like with 30 seconds left. Like I don't know how they called that. Yeah, that was the over under.
It was the over under. It was kind of
and
like
it was perfectly called. I mean, it was unbelievable.
It's kind of like the national anthem stuff. Like I just don't get how Vegas gets this stuff right. Like what kind of computer out there is like, oh yeah, like 10:15. And yeah, it was like within 30 seconds of the cutoff on the over under. And at that point, a few beers in, if I had lost and had money on something like that, there'd be a putter throw.
Yeah, there'd be a putter throw.
I've heard that the singer of the national anthem, they have leading up to it, when they do their practice, they have them sing it like 10 different times, and they like specifically ask them to basically try some different things because people can hear. Like if you live around the stadium, you could technically like get some like a hot tip on it, and people have the timers, and everyone always has like the friend of a friend's mom that works with the NFL and times it. And I remember that in college, everyone was like, put your life on it, like my friend's mom timed it, and it never works out. It's like whenever you hear that tip, it's like do the opposite because it's going to win.
Yeah, as I say, it's basically, unless I hear it from like Nancy Pelosi that she's on the under, like I'm not touching that one bit. But Pelosi Capital's on that puppy, then I'll open the savings account up.
She won't tell you until 6 months after, bro.
Yeah.
Marv and I did successfully get one legitimate insider gambling tip in our life, and it was an NFL draft tip when
1, 2, 3.
When Zeke Elliott. It was I had a friend that I worked with, that's friend worked for the Chargers, and he told us that Jared Goff was definitely going number 1, Carson Wentz was going 2, Zeke was going 3. Like the whole world knew that. And then the 4th pick, no one knew who the Chargers were picking, and he got the call that was like, we are 100% drafting Joey Bosa. And so me and Marv watched the draft. There was a perfect sports bet that was like paying out like 10-1 or something, that if you got the first 4 picks right, and it all was about the 4th pick. And it was me, Marv, and my buddy Nate, and we all bet on this to happen. And we were in my little tiny East Village apartment, like just going nuts on the whatever, like Thursday night, maybe it was definitely a school night, and we had ourselves quite the night.
I say, and unfortunately though, this is back when we were a little bit younger.
I know. Would you guys bet like $10?
Yeah, I was gonna say like 25.
Life savings, yeah.
Where that was like, wow, if I put as much money on that one right there as if I did the Eagles last night, like, you know, I'd like be close to getting back to even for my life.
I think we all put like $100 and won $1,000. Like it was 10. I think it was $100 and we each won $1,000, and we were just going like crazy.
Which
like
big, yeah.
I mean, $100 is still a lot of conviction, because like you said, you haven't had many of these like sure things. So this was like, you don't have a history of the sure thing. So
no. This is just a hot, and I've gotten a lot of hot tips before that were wrong, but for some reason this one this kid was a straight shooter that told me this, and he had no reason to tell me, and so I was like, all right, this
we were all together too, which made it a lot more fun when like you and your buddies are all on something. It's like everybody's fired up. Where it's like if you realize last night we were like an Eagles fan and then a Phillies fan, it's like, oh man, this is just awkward. Like a lot more fun when everybody's on riding.
Well, yeah, it's also way better environment for you, James, because then you're not betting with your emotions. With the Super Bowl, you could like, I think really everybody, no one's like tied to it. So you don't care if it's the Chiefs win, you don't care if the Eagles win. You just look at all the most fun bets, and they're just like throwing down these things because that's the only thing you really cared about.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it a little entertaining.
But yeah, that was a hell of a game, except for the NFL having the shittiest field I've ever seen out there.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I mean, like the NFL might be the only people that spend our money worse than the U.S. government. Like, how are you spending millions of dollars on this puppy? Like, literally, it was like fucking Wagyu beef out there. They're hand massaging it every day for 2 weeks, and then you go out there and this thing is just like impossible meat. Just like it looks good and then just tastes terrible.
What do you guys think of the call? The call that everybody's making a big deal about, that last call on the drive to give him the first down.
I thought I'm biased because of the money side here, but I think by the rule book, I can see how it was called. It did look quite benign and innocent, and I feel like it was just like a good game. It had been clean. They weren't really calling anything, and then that's all they call the entire game.
Exactly. They didn't call anything all game, so it's like it was surprising they called that in the moment. It was like it was also surprising the guy just immediately after the game was like, yeah, that was a penalty. I was like, what are you doing? Like
I know, I can't believe he said that was a penalty.
Dale must have said like you can sign a 7-year contract or something. That made no sense. I mean,
no sense.
Like
he's like, yeah, sure, I grabbed him. It was a penalty. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Stoke the controversy at least.
Exactly. Did Goodell like slip this guy like $1 million? Like, here's a check for $1 million. Can you please say this immediately?
100%. Yeah.
Like that's the only explanation. Like no one says that. Like, yeah, it was a penalty. I just wished it didn't call.
There's a backroom deal because right after that press conference, then Goodell came out and said, "This is the best refereeing we've ever had." It's like, what are we even? This is a stretch.
Crazy.
So I thought but at the same time, I think I found my new arch enemy for all these years as a Giants fan. It was Tom Brady. Tom Brady I've lost a lot of money against because I really always take the other side, and he has a much better win percentage than I do. And now it's becoming Mahomes. Last 2 weeks ago against the Bengals, and I swear there was a few calls in that game too. I mean, Mahomes over here is the new Tommy Brady. I mean, now all of a sudden you can't touch him, you can't hit him, you can't even breathe on him, and the NFL will do whatever it takes to try to get the wins there.
How about the commercial? Did any of you guys fall for that like FUBU?
And no.
Oh, we fell for it so bad. I didn't even know it was fake until this morning when I saw it on Instagram. We were yelling at my mom that she must have done it on her phone.
I was like, "Who said on the remote? God damn it!"
Yeah, we were freaking out. Like I immediately got the remote, switched it over to I have a YouTube TV account. We were watching it on the normal spectrum. I was like, "I'll get on you." I don't know what just happened. I was like trying to switch it over. That was pretty good.
It definitely, the best one I saw on Twitter today was like this family that had like an inside camera, and this guy is like, not only did my team lose, he goes, the biggest loss of the night is now I need to make it up to my mother-in-law, and like on the video it just goes over, it's like, God damn it, Sharon, you bitch, what are you doing changing the channel?
Well, I mean, it was like so detailed, like you couldn't have been someone actually sitting on it because it was like boom, and it goes like over a few, and then like I think it landed on Mr. and Mrs. Smith or something. So it was like someone's really fucking with the game if they're going to,
It wasn't like the third quarter, so it was like you're a few beers in here, and I think that overall across America at that point, heart rates were very elevated as that happened, and a lot of people said things to family members they should not have said.
Yeah.
And like whatever that company is that advertises for it, I don't know, but like I have a Samsung TV, and whenever I'm doing something wrong on I am sitting on the remote when that pops up, and I'm always like, what is this network? So right away I was like triggered. I was like, I hate that someone's on the remote. Like it does go to that screen when you sit on the remote.
And it was so late in the game too that like you got food on the table, like. And people haven't changed the channel for the entire game, obviously. So like nobody even knows what like there's like a mad scramble. It's not readily available. The clicker. It's
exactly. It's so funny.
But that one got me. Besides that, though, I thought the commercials are absolutely atrocious. But I mean, I think it's been in this direction for like 20 years. And I mean, it seems like the only prereq last night is you must be somebody washed up, either an athlete or 98% chance Hollywood star. 65 or older, and that was like basically it.
I mean, how many geriatrics do we see on like, and it was just like throwbacks to these really shitty concepts that were like funny 20 years ago, maybe 40 years ago. It's like they were terrible ads.
And there wasn't one like Budweiser or any beer once, unless I like missed it.
There was some weird Miller Lite, Coors Light like battle going on that I never could follow.
Yeah, that was weird commercial.
None of them really got me going though. Yeah, it was.
There was nothing like iconic about any of the commercials. I don't think.
I mean, I think that just in general,
I was just
nowadays,
confused by them. I was like, what the hell's going on?
the commercials do a better job nowadays to make me not want to buy something than buy something. Which I will say is a massive change. I mean, you go on Instagram or something like that, buy all sorts of shit on there because they have a great job of getting you wrapped in TV commercials. I'm like, I'm never buying a goddamn Nissan. Not that it was really kind of a top 5 on the buy list, but you go watch a few Nissan commercials and
Dude, the Pepsi, I didn't really think the Pepsi one was that good, even though like that just did not seem that great. Obviously, because we got a thicker beverage, we should have been the one in it, but
yeah, well,
there was some narrative that I missed about the M&Ms. I guess M&M got in trouble like over the years for having like too sexual of a
I think that the female M&M was too hot. She had the high
too hot, and then they like swung too far in the wrong direction. So then I completely missed this, but I guess like on Twitter or something before the Super Bowl, they were like, we're taking the year off basically because we can't not get like canceled because of our people, and then they plugged one right at the end that was like, we're back, and they slapped that in there. But that was like, there was multiple levels to a really simple M&M ad, I guess.
Dude, what about wasn't there supposed to be a ton of hype around Gronk kicking a field goal and like FanDuel, everybody gets like a split of the pie? Do you guys, wasn't it like a big, they did a huge big pre, and then the clip
You're supposed to do it live, right?
Long.
So that was that was the other one my sister called me on. She was like, I want to bet on Gronk making this field goal. I hadn't heard of it. So I thought Gronk was kicking live, like in the stadium.
That's what I thought too. Yeah.
That's like they
at like halftime. That would have been
blurred.
Epic.
They certainly blurred some lines, and FanDuel had this big thing that they had accumulated $10 million of free bets. And if Gronk made this field goal, everyone that participated got like their share of the winnings. But it looked totally fake.
Yeah.
It looked so fake. It looked like it was like just a staged like acting performance. The kick didn't even look real, and they didn't have any replays of the kick. Like you're not going to do you're not going to do the behind or like the side or the bird's eye view. It was just kick went wide and it cut. It was like, all right, you guys all still get money. And then it was over.
It feels like there should be like a lawsuit, like that just seems like a straight like stealing. Like if you could actually bet on that looked total bullshit. And I hadn't even heard of it until we watched last night. I was like, that was really bizarre. And then this morning got caught up. But I was like that like, yeah, that's strange.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
that was.
Well, I guess the final thing we got to talk about last night, and hopefully let's not put this one up as a soundbite here for the let everybody come out of the woodwork. But the Rihanna performance, my God, I
thought you were going to go with the Jesus ad with that build up.
Trying to decide which one got me, made me more squeamish, Rihanna up there or the Jesus ad. Yeah, but those were, and also the Jesus ad. I know the church has raised a lot of money, but so I don't know if the church was behind that. But those were, that was kind of like the commercial that got me. Where everybody yelling at the people is like, is this like a real commercial?
My take on the Rihanna concert was, I would say a year ago when they booked it, Kanye was supposed to perform with her. You don't slap 2 Kanye features directly in the middle of the set without him. That was like exactly when the special guest was supposed to arrive. There was a lot of. I'm surprised that she was even allowed to play Kanye songs. Like All the Lights, I think of as a Kanye song, not a Rihanna song.
It's like she's the guest, like featuring Rihanna.
Yeah, that's an interesting take, but he was probably pretty controversial still back then. I don't know, definitely not to the level he is now, but
I mean, he's still quite hard though. I think he was still. I mean, he still had like the Nike contract or Adidas
and the Yeezy,
and stuff. It's like. He was saying a few things, or like he's going off the deep end, but he wasn't canceled. Now he's canceled.
Oh yeah, he can't.
And also the best thing about Rihanna too is like I don't think there's a problem with doing it, but she like was playing lyrics to the song when she was just clearly not even attempting to sing. Yeah, you know, like I get like I don't have a problem with it, but like if you're gonna pretend to sing, like don't have your voice be the only voice going while your mic's down and you're like looking and like talking to somebody else.
I threw that out like
she wasn't even trying.
I was like, do we think she's singing? And like a bunch of people in the room were like, what do you mean? Of course she's singing. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, just wait. She's singing a couple of the verses maybe along with her own voice blaring behind it.
Yeah, no, that was what I was like. You know,
But
like,
she'd put the mic down like completely and
Yeah.
be like,
Oh yeah, that was the best. The mic's just down.
Yeah.
we're like,
It,
and
it's
then
like at
we're
least-
like, does she have a ear mic or something? And then you look at you, no, she's just not, and she's just like not singing, and her voice is like perfect.
But we got to give her credit. Rihanna's got some bangers. All those songs. You know,
oh
Yeah,
my
she
God,
is.
might not
so
want to
good.
admit it, but she's
I
got some
do
bangers.
like Rihanna a lot.
The songs were great. It was the performance, and again, I know she's going through all these things that none of us will ever experience, nor do you know how it feels. But was surprised that she probably got a big check, which is why I was not going to pull out. But yeah, but like at least if you're gonna fake it to me, like just make me feel okay, you know, it's like a girl in the bedroom, like at least make me feel semi good about it. Don't give me like the whole I mean, nothing. Like the mic down here, not even looking, and just give a few nods. And I swear, I mean, if she had an Apple Watch on, she could even get credit for a walk. She was like it was like a Spanish referee, did not leave the center circle.
Yep.
Yeah, Dan, where were your crypto ads this year? No FTX. What's
Well,
going on?
unfortunately, I never did FTX. I did get a nice little rug taken out of me by fucking Bitcoin and Ethereum, even though I disagreed with the entire thing, but was just sick of all the goddamn crypto nerds talking about how much money they were making and buying their little yachts and G-Wagons. But so I was a little late to the party there, and then finally just decided to take my haircut. But long story short, yes, it was nice not to see FTX commercials and stuff and having all the celebrities talk about they're not financial advisors, but some great investment opportunities.
I mean, what was that company? Was it Crypto.com that was all over the World Cup? I mean, that was massive spend. I'm surprised there wasn't one or two trying to rehab the image.
I'm surprised Crypto.com didn't have one because they're still they were still like the lead sponsor of the UFC. I saw on Saturday night that was on ESPN. Like it was like Crypto.com all over the ring. They've got the like they're still
they got the arenas, right? They got the LA Kings arena.
Yeah, because I remember we went to the hockey game last year, and
I think that's all residuals, though. I think they've already bought that ad spend. They're like, uh-oh.
You have to know you're a big hockey guy when you refer to the Staples Center as the LA Kings arena. I will certainly give you that. And I guess it is now Crypto.com, but RIP Kobe for that one.
Yeah, we Gio and I, we went to a game there last year, and I mean, I hadn't been to LA in a few, and it was weird to go to a Kings game. And I mean, like Staples Center, all the stuff had been taken out, but you had the bones still there, I guess, if it were. And there was like a printout from Kinko's basically saying crypto.com. It was the shittiest little thing I've ever seen. I mean,
that's a great way of saying it. It was literally like, you for $200, you just slapped something up there with a logo. Like not very well thought out at all,
but
maybe
there's still the running where I'm calling in right now from Miami, and Miami no longer has a current stadium name because FTX, the Miami Arena just got out of that deal.
It's like Washington Football Team 2.0.
Yeah.
Miami Stadium.
I think Hangobi should lob in a quick offer.
Yeah, I think it might be like we could just fill the void, just be a little interim, we could get the brand out there. Dan could be the local rep down Miami. Yeah, perfect combo.
I feel like Dan, this could be a mission for you. Just how do you get it up there? Just interim. You're not signing a 10-year deal. It's just just for a short playoff run. They're not really going anywhere this year.
Yeah,
games.
I think that we're kind of like distressed debt investors here, coming in pennies on the dollar. Give us a shot here. You know what? The teams have the teams still down. You just lost your biggest sponsor, but you know what? Investors could be you, and we are here for you.
I like it. Hangobi Arena.
We'll pay him in free samples. We'll just stock the shelves. You got Bud Light, you got Goose Island, and you got Hangobi. Perfect. That's it.
And because we're not paying as much up front, everybody gets a Hangobi recovery when you leave the game, so that after a night out, all these influencers out there, you got to be easy on the calories, Hangobi, low on calories, and you got to be ready to go for that photo shoot the next morning at about 12:30 when they wake up.
You can't have the bags under your eyes, and Hangobi tightens the skin. It's almost like a little Botox action. It makes it really clean in the morning. You don't have that morning after look.
That's not FDA approved.
Yeah. we're still workshopping that one. Oh, but and while we're running, we almost have about 6 minutes left. We got to chat about, because we're all Rangers fans here, the massive blockbuster trade. What do we think? What do we think about Tarasenko rolling through?
I love it.
Love it.
Look at this hat, O'Leary.
That's incredible.
Pick this one up.
That's incredible. I should have, I've got a very dirty white Kevin Hayes Rangers jersey that's, that has been needed to get dusted off.
That is a legendary jersey that spent a lot of time at the step.
Actually,
Yeah.
The
A lot of
Stepson was
beers
rebranded, right?
That should probably be hung at the step.
I was going to say, Otan, you
It's
might
too
need to tell
valuable,
that
though.
story. You might need to tell that story. I think we probably told some iteration in the past here with a few Rangers game, but maybe give us a little, as we have the Rangers here coming in, big playoff push, maybe a little epic Hangobi story from the old days.
Where do we begin? Where do we begin?
Was that 2017 season? Was that the real one that got us?
The 20, yeah. What they was that the year that they made it to the Cup final? Was that 2017?
That was
No, that was like 2015.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Speaking of, we lost the damn Kings that time.
Yeah.
Yes. So that season, that was like I had just moved to New York. So that was probably 2014. I had just moved to New York. All in. Rangers had it was Marv, a couple other guys. The crew got a lot bigger in the runs to follow. But the best story would be we were at Stumble Inn. We had ventured north to Stumble Inn, the sister restaurant of 13th Step, and
keeping it in the family.
Like lifelong Rangers fan Andrew Grace and I are up there. That Marv was there. There's a big group of us, and it was like Game 5, and they were playing the Capitals and we were like, we're all getting after it up there, going nuts. I think we broke a chair or something, and we had that like perfect amount of like our tab was just high enough that like they weren't going to kick you out because you were like contributing enough to the bar that night. And I think a chair broke. And then basically game ends, Rangers win, and we decided like going into the third period, Grace and I are like, if the Rangers win this game, we're going to Washington. And it was midweek. It was like a Tuesday night game, so the next game was gonna be Thursday night. Rangers win. Grace and I buy tickets in the Stumble Inn online. And then like the next day are like, oh yeah, we have to figure out like how we're getting to Washington, where we're staying in Washington. And ultimately like Grace had a buddy from where he went to boarding school. Buddy is like a loose term. Grace clearly had not talked to this guy in a while. And, like we kind of like showed up, guns blazing, Rangers jerseys on. He was not going to the game. And we went like just all out in the rafters in the Capitol Stadium. Behind enemy lines. Except WR Grace was sponsoring it, so it did say Grace all over the stadium, which is very funny, which we joked about with him. But Grace and I, they win. Grace and I go out like big time after the game.
Wait, was there any hostility? Was there any hostility?
No, there was surprisingly not that much hostility. Grace rap battled a homeless guy at one point. That was a pretty legendary performance by him. And then we went back to his buddy's place. Like we spoke, like we stayed at this poor kid's house, like showed up, started pre-gaming ourselves in his apartment, kind of talked to him, went to the game, got back really late, slept, got out of there. Like, I have no idea who this kid was, but he was a gracious host for us. And then they went on to win. They won game 6 there, and that clinched the series. And then I think they went on to unfortunately lose to the Kings after that.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is before work from home Friday. So then these boys, so O-Town's driving back because he needs to be at work in New York Friday morning. Grace passed out in the back.
Exactly. I don't want to, I got to clear it with his agent before I throw out too many details with Grace. We might have to get him on here to talk about the drive home and parking the car in this city and me going into my office and everything. But there's a little more there to unpack.
for the next episode.
For the next episode. I want to hear about this legendary Chelsea Pier hockey team, and maybe we get a little Jack Faso on the pod here, Gio.
Oh yeah, we got to get him on. Jack Faso is a mutual friend of O'Leary's and I's, and we just won the championship together. I explained on the last pod, but he's a little bulldog. He's a little terrier actually, because he was played for.
He is. Him and I went. I've spent a little. I went on a bachelor party to Miami with him. He was a fellow groomsman to a good childhood buddy of mine. And that was such a small world little connection when I saw him post about it and you and Christian posted about it. I was like, wait, these guys are definitely on the same team.
Little terrier on and off the ice.
Yeah, for sure.
And Jack
Big
hadn't
presence.
Jack hadn't posted anything, and I just texted him completely out of the blue, like, "Hey man, congrats on the big win last night. Like, that's unbelievable." Like, really pumped him up, and he was like, "Yeah, it was good, but like, how did you know I won that championship?" I was like, "I got people everywhere, Jack. Don't worry about it."
Dude, love
All
it,
right,
guys. Love it,
guys.
guys.
Well, it looks
Yeah.
like we're a little out of time, but O'Leary, thanks for
O'Leary,
coming, man.
awesome
We got to have you
job.
on again.
Awesome job on the pod. Yeah, you were one of our better guests, and we're grateful to have you. You just kept the
Oh,
team
it's good.
coming.
It's good to do it. And I'll give a Hangobi a quick plug. You know, had one this afternoon, Super Bowl Monday. Had one 2 p.m. or so, the wake that's behind you, and it was absolutely delicious. Gets you a nice little afternoon caffeine buzz. So big fan of the brand.
Hell yeah.
Love it, boys. Well, we'll continue the conversation, but a blast as always.
Yeah.
All right.
See you guys. O'Leary,
See you
thanks for
guys.
coming.
See ya. Yeah.
See ya.